How do I choose to send my channels to the different buses? Well, the way I personally like to use it, instead of breaking the song out into different sections and affecting them differently, I send everything to the A bus and everything to the B bus. I use that type of parallel compression to dial in the final sound of the record. Here's how I do it. Everything goes to the B bus and gets hit by the warm VCA bus compressor. It's just like the SSL bus compressor, and that's what I use on my B bus. On the A bus, I have the Chameleon Labs 7721 VCA comp. I originally had their first model of this. The 7721 is a big upgrade. It's a big upgrade. Their own hand-wound transformers that they created. This unit sounds amazing. Really great unit. And I'm only ever really using 50% of it because I keep that wet-dry knob at high noon because I want to let some of that dry signal bleed in. You know, the individual channels are already compressed and limited a bit inside the DAW. So by the time they're getting there, you don't have to keep smashing them. And recently I've gone to a outboard vocal chain where I'm using a Lintec EQ and a Lin 76 compressor. And I decide based on the song if I want to put the Lintec compressor before or after the compressor. I can do that in my patch bay, and it makes life easier. But I'm processing the main dry vocals through that. And once everything is fully summed and beautiful sounding out of the Sigma, I then take those A-bus outputs and I put them directly into the Dangerous Convert 80 Plus, and that is the final analog master print. I do something a little different. I don't mix and master as separate stages. I know a lot of people do, and it's something that I did for the first 15 years of my career. However, with enough time and practice, do you hear that part? It takes practice. You can learn how to mix and master at the same time. I've just gotten to the point where I know how I want that end record to sound, and I can't take a mix halfway there. You know what I mean? I can't take a mix and only get halfway to the end of how I know it's going to sound in the end. I want to push it all the way so I know that the final analog sound that I'm hearing that's being printed back in is final. There's no one else that's going to be affecting it or adjusting it or messing with it. It's the final print that the artist can send off to the distributor and that it goes into all the different streaming networks. ClipGuard makes that a very easy process for me. It lets me know that I can trust that when I make that analog print, I know it's not going to be clipping in the box and that that file is good to go. Some other time I can go into the individual pieces in gear and tell you all of the amazing bits about each piece of gear. But for now, I just want to give you what my system is using and why it sounds as good as it does when I'm done.